Hey there, folks. This is Sam Whitfield from the Whitfield Report. So, Jeff from the Danger Zone and Sam Savages over on my YouTube channel asked me to do this Aftermath broadcast, so that's what I'm going to do. I tried to do a video here on my phone, but it just wasn't really working. So I'm doing this Aftermath as an audio only stream here on Periscope. It'll be uploaded to YouTube and to iTunes later. And I'll probably do like a more in-depth one tomorrow. But just for you guys who kind of want my immediate reaction, this will be short. So, long story short, I did not do a show about the election on Saturday night. For those of you who listen to my podcast pretty regularly, you may or may not know that I do my regular weekly show on Saturday night, and that my podcast is usually politically based. Now, this past Saturday, I had a guest on my podcast who is more of a musical person, a friend of mine, and not really politically involved. And I decided to do that format for two reasons. One of which, I needed a break from politics. The other reason, though, to be honest, folks, on Saturday night, I really didn't know how to predict this election, okay? I'll admit, I'm not that good at the election prediction game. And so on Saturday night, I didn't want to make any predictions just because races are so close anymore. And in the case of Trump's election, they're so unpredictable. Even with races like Florida, that I didn't want to make a prediction and then have it not blow up in my face. So I decided just to wait. Even so, though, the elections, at least here in Florida, were a lot closer than I would have liked. I am relieved beyond belief that Ron DeSantis won the gubernatorial's race right now. Believe me, relief is the one word that I can think of when referring to the governor's race. And to all of you giving super hearts on Periscope and whatnot, thank you. The reason I'm relieved is because Gillum, while he may have been a nice guy personally and whatnot, I don't really know that much about his background personally, but what I do know is that Gillum was a pretty vocal supporter of implementing a state income tax here in Florida, which would hurt our economy. I mean, it's pretty robust from tourism as it is. The other thing, Andrew Gillum pretty much praised Governor Jerry Brown and the job that he's been doing in California. And for those who are unaware or haven't been paying attention, just look at how much that California's in. I mean, do you really want to be praising Jerry Brown, Democrats? Do you really want to be, leading with Jerry Brown as a good example of what to do? I don't think so. So that was definitely a big turnoff for me. And I mean, I can't stress that enough with the governor's race. As far as the Senate race, I think it's still going on. At this point, it's probably going to go to Scott because it's looking that way in the polls based on what I've seen. But Scott's going to win Senate probably. So that's good, I guess, if you're a Republican. Here's the thing. Scott and Nelson, neither of them are like particularly interesting. Bill Nelson has basically been campaigning, as far as I can tell, on the fact that he was an astronaut 40-some years ago. And that's a cool thought. That's a cool story. But being an astronaut, he didn't really seem to have any good policy ideas or even really any worth mentioning that I could think of. He wasn't really a noticeable candidate. Rick Scott, at the very least, even if you didn't like him, he's been governor for the past couple of years, so at least he has a track record in that. And Nelson was an astronaut, and then he's been in the Senate for 30 years. No, 40. So I realize, folks, again, you'll have to bear with me. I realize I'm kind of rambling and kind of doing this unscripted. I'm not even in front of my mic right now. I'm doing this directly from the Periscope app on my phone. Right now, you'll see this later on Instagram, but I've got a Guinness I've got my phone in my left hand and I've got a Guinness in my right hand. And I usually don't drink during the week, but it's this was one of those nights. Very high stress, very high energy. Anyway, folks, what more can I say about the Florida race? There's not much more I can say, so thanks for tuning in, and I'll have a more in-depth show later on this week.